I mean, really, who would have thought it?
Thought what?
That having that in your sock could be the difference.
What?
A peppermint patty wrapper in your sock while you play lacrosse.
I was going to say, who'd put the peppermint patty in there? It's different. Who does that?
This is what Ryan Tierney does before every game.
Really? Why
Yes.
am I just hearing about this now? What happened?
Before every Massapequa game,
Right?
Coach Tim Radomski will take one of the finer candies, low fat, I might say, a peppermint patty.
Right.
Unwrap that peppermint patty. He will eat the peppermint patty, and then Ryan Tierney will come by, the super sophomore heading to play
Right.
for his dad at Hofstra, take the wrapper, put it in his sock. It's a little ritual, a little routine they started.
And Radomski makes fun of me because I bought
And
a
at the end of the
Fresca.
day, the peppermint patty is a state champ.
That is an unbelievable story.
Before the state semifinals, I was sitting in the booth, and Radomski was flashing it up to me in the sun. He like got that chrome-looking tinfoily wrapper.
I like him.
It's a heck of a story. And
Radomski's a good guy, right?
he is. Listen, he's a great guy. Sometimes you feel good for the face of the franchise, and
Yeah.
Radomski was the face of the franchise. And Mike, there's no better position in sports, in any sport, than having destiny in your own hands.
Oh, yeah.
That is what you strive for when you roll out the balls in any sport. You don't want to have to be, I'm a Met fan. We're always waiting for somebody to lose if we ever have a sniff. You don't want to have to look for other people to lose to get where you need to get to. And for Massapequa, they had destiny in their own hands to finish #1 in the tri-state.
And normally this would be the week that we put the bow on the official, but this is not the official final poll.
Right, because
That's
Connecticut.
next week.
But #1 finishes as a New York State champ. It's a pretty strong position. So, I mean, there were teams last week we sat here and teams needed help. Darien needed help, Chaminade needed help, DeBart needed help. They needed Niskayuna or Fayetteville Manlius to give them a little help.
You know what they needed? They needed Smithtown East to beat them in the Long Island Championship, because once they beat East, nothing was going to stop Massapequa. What did they score the last two games? 39 goals?
Yes, 23 and 16, and 11 different goal scorers in the state final. Hey, listen, there was a celebration Final Four for.
It's a lot of teams that play lacrosse in our area to finish #1.
Yeah, I mean, I threw that out to you before, and we were sort of counting it up. It's over 400, under 500, probably in the neighborhood of 450 lacrosse-playing high schools in the tri-state area.
Yeah, that's not counting like Hartford, and Syracuse.
Right,
and
you have a
Albany.
radius that you've always used.
100 miles.
Okay, and listen, it's epic for Massapequa to finish #1, but just to be in the top 20. When you think about 450 schools, like I always tell my kids when we talk about big odds, I go, take 450 pennies and put them in a pile. Put one dime in there. It's not easy to find that dime.
Right.
It's a big ratio.
That's what you do?
No. I don't know why I said that.
I can't figure out what you're
But the
talking
peppermint patty, I can't believe it.
That's a great story.
Wasn't there friction, abrasion?
about. You would think. Maybe he wears 2 socks.
I mean, if heaven forbid he ever had some kind of injury, the trainer comes out. What is this?
You think Tierney will go to Hofstra someday?
He will if he wants to get his allowance.
Matt Danowski didn't go to Hofstra.
Tierney is already committed to Hofstra.
He did.
Yeah, well, he's verbally committed. He's a sophomore, but he's going to play for his dad. Can you do any better? And listen, his dad, has a lot to do with Massapequa's success because he really helps out with all those kids in the junior program. So it's a tremendous time for one and all.
Tough time of the year to lose, because if you lose,
It is.
remember the poll is
Ask my
always
daughter.
about where you go at the end and not where you are in the beginning.
Yeah.
In the beginning of the year, we had Fairfield Prep in the
Yes.
top 10. One team got skidooed this week.
They had a win and stay in game against Greenwich, and
Such a shame that was a state quarterfinal game. Connecticut seeded their teams wrong. Watch Quick Hits Connecticut. We'll tell you all you need to know. So Jim, 1 is out.
yeah,
That means how many come in?
1. There was a team who won a state championship. Okay. That was not in the poll last week, so I was figuring we would see them right there in the poll with somebody coming out.
Well,
I look at number 20, and what do I see? Not the team I thought.
Number 20 out. The new number 20, Seton
I don't
Hall
know
Prep.
about this. listen, good job by Seton Hall. They're always relevant to finish in the top 20. You know, the epic victory a year ago against Del Barton. And congratulations, the Pirates are in there at number 20.
At number 19,
here we go, baby.
We've said all year,
hey,
we need them to get a signature win. Now they have it, snapping Casanovia's 34-game win streak. But in order to get that game, they needed to get this one first. When they took on Babylon in the C semifinal, Bronxville 1-0 early, but then Army-bound Nick Santarelli to Navy-bound Ray Wardell. That's a military goal right there, and it tied it at 1. Then Bronxville going to take the lead here for good. Will Duncan, the Iron Man, the Lou Gehrig of Bronxville lacrosse. How many games?
92 games in his career. This might have been number 93.
Wow. Henry Grass, he's got another year next year before he heads off to Johns Hopkins. That gave him a 3-1 lead. Then the outlet pass from the terrific goalie Andrew Harwood. Look at the team ball here. Grass to Barons to Crawford, back to Barons. Oh, they were fun to watch. It's 4-2 now. Babylon going to make a run. They're going to hang around for a little bit. That made it 4-3. Third quarter, this is where this game was put the hay in the barn right here. Time running out in the third. Ted Forst gets the goal, made it 6-3. Seconds later, Henry Grass going to get the goal on the doorstep with those wonderful feet, stays out of the crease.
Nothing worse than giving up 2 goals in the final seconds of a quarter. But, Mike, there was still time left in the quarter, and look at this.
Owen Jones wins the face-off, gets it to Grass. Grass gets it to Crawford, and Crawford says to Babylon, guys, we are going back to the C championship. Grass, flat out spectacular in this game. 5 goals, 3 assists. As
that was Crawford,
Mike. Right.
But how about the 3 goals in 19 seconds? And this is the All-American Grass, who was off the hook. Remember his name, folks. You're going to be seeing him play in college Final Fours soon to come. He is special.
Well, they didn't mind having to deal with the Belmont traffic. They went home Wednesday night. They came back Saturday afternoon with one thing on their mind, getting back a state title that Casanovia took away from them last year.
There's the Providence-bound senior captain, Will Duncan. Game is tied at 5. Then Liam Lynch off the faceoff. Game is tied at 7. Casanovia's got studs all over the field. Casanova is up 8-7. And look at this one. Cole Willard, the sophomore, makes it 9-7. Bronxville would get down 10-9. Matty Behrens, oh, what a laser. That makes it 10-9. Off the rebound, he makes the goalie, forces him into a mistake, and then Henry Grass. Down 1, make it tie game. 10-10. So Bronxville was down 10-8 in the fourth quarter. They not only go on a 3-goal run, they not only go on a 4-goal run when Barron scores, but then Henry Grass to Crawford. This is all part of a 5-goal run in the fourth quarter. And when Will Duncan put it home, they had completed the epic run for the Roses. 5 goals, down 10-8, they win it 13-10, and their first ever state championship in the process.
I'm not surprised because the schedule they played, and we've chronicled it from day one this year, those 6 losses, well, 5 of those losses, the Mahopac one, still can't figure that out, that put them in a position to win this game.
And Mike, there's something that is so sweet about a team who loses a tough state championship, as Bronxville did a year ago, to Casanovia, the same team. Casanovia comes back this year. They still haven't lost. So, Bronxville couldn't look at Casanovia's undefeated season and say, well, who have they played?
Right.
They played us in one of those wins, okay? And they got the same opponent, and a year after losing and going home on the bus with a disappointment, they win it this time, kind of in their own backyard with a lot of their fans there. Really nice moment for a young program. And Mike, by the way, Bronxville all year long, when you read all the articles, they're always referred to as a rising power, rising power, rising power. Take the rising out now.
They're
just a power.
So congratulations to Coach Horgan's guys. They make it into the big boy poll, the Tri-State Top 20. One of their 6 losses this year to our number 18 team, Sachem North. They lost a heartbreaker that day, 6-5. And again, they were not at full health, this team, until the 5th game of the eventual end of the sectional semifinals. That's when they got healthy. At number 17, Smithtown West. They were number 1 in our poll for most of the year, and they would lose in the county semifinals. At number 16, West Islip started the year 1-4 and made it all the way to the championship before losing to Smithtown East. At number 15, falling a few spots this week, the Lakers of Mountain Lakes lost 10-3 to Summit in the Tournament of Champion semifinals. The great career of Christian Cuccinello comes to an end. His next lacrosse play will be on the main line when he plays for your Wildcats of Villanova.
And he gets a couple feeds from Luke Palmadesso from Yorktown.
At number 14, Rocky Point. They lost to Lynbrook in the Long Island B Championship, and this week, now you start to see teams who didn't play this week. There's movement in the poll to fit champions in there. At number 13, New Canaan. They have 2 games remaining, because I can say that because they're going to beat Barlow in the semifinals, and then they will take on Darien, who needs to beat Hand, which they will, in the Class M state title Saturday at Brian McMahon. At number 12, Lynbrook. The Owls fall 2 spots after losing to Yorktown in the State B semifinal. They led 2-0 early, eventually would go on to lose the game 9-6. They fall 2 spots, moving up 4 spots this week. The team that ended the Owls season, Yorktown. Dave Marr's guys check in at number 11, and here's how they got by Lynbrook. We said Lynbrook led early, and when Joe Grassi would score his 2nd goal moments into the game, it made it 2-0 in favor of the Owls. It's now 2-1. Yorktown looking to tie it up. Nicky Bonatanabis, the head up, finding Connor Veracruz, and the Rutgers bounder would tie it at 2. Second quarter, Joey G not done. Grassi was spectacular in this game. Short distance goal gave the kids from Nassau a 3-2 lead. What about the great individual effort by Mike DeVukai for the Huskers? Brings the defense out and then goes to work.
He's so much fun to watch. You know, you could just tell his goals are a byproduct of him working out on his own, making all these little dodges and just firing shots at a cage. And DeVukai in the semifinal, he would put his stamp on this Yorktown run into the finals.
Well, his first one tied it at 3. His second one gave them a 4-3 lead. His natural hat trick came right here in the 3rd, where number 23 with the little backhand flip makes it 5-3. They were feeling really, really good then. And check out Nick Delbenny. Jim, do you think this is a pass to Ryan Baker, or he's looking off the weak side to Veracruz?
I think he was looking to Veracruz. Gotta love it, though. It was all going their way.
The Baker had the ingredients there, and then Austin Fusco. Here to the play of the game. Just a wonderful athlete. The Syracuse-bound pole with the steal, head up, finds Veracruz, and he just drops it into the net. That made it 7-3, and when Baker would score on the doorstep off the loose change, Bonatanabis was really good in this game. That gave him an 8-3 lead, a game they would go on to win 9-6 to set up a championship appearance as they would go for their first title since '03 against upstate Jamesville DeWitt.
And the last time they won a state title was 11 years before in 2003. Who was it against? Jamesville DeWitt. Would that be a good omen? Well, when Matty Gonzalez scores here, it was 4-0 Yorktown. It's going to be a rout, right? No way. Durkin to Grayson Burns. This Burns is a sophomore and he's special. That ties the game at 4. Unbelievable. But look at Strassman to Connor Veracruz. What Yorktown did in this game, folks, is they bent, they never broke. The game would be tied, they get the lead back. And then Chris Alvarado makes it 6-5 Yorktown. And you see, they would just keep coming. Yorktown ball up 6-5. Connor Veracruz makes it 7-5. And now Yorktown was taking control. Nicky B, the 4th of the Bonatanabis boys. To Nick Delbenny, he's had a special year. But Jamesville DeWitt comes all the way back again. And when Anthony DiGiovanni scores this goal, it's 9-8. It's a 1-goal game in the 4th quarter. 5 minutes left. You ask your All-Americans to be All-Americans. And when Syracuse-bound Austin Fusco, who's been a 4-year varsity player, knows it's the 4th quarter in a state title game and we're only up by 1, he takes matters into his own hands.
Well, the play of the year for Yorktown High School, and he is a joy to watch play.
That made it 10-8, but don't look now. 48 seconds left. Griffin Feiner makes it 10-9. Luke Palmadesso, the epic face-off of his life, and he wins it. Palmadesso gives Yorktown the possession. Dave Marr is a champion again. He gets the bucket and he gets the boy. The boy is his son Liam, 9 years old, and Yorktown is a state title winner again. And I think the Yorktown people are still celebrating.
Oh, there's no doubt.
Okay, they won it Saturday night. There was a party Saturday night. I spoke to Dave Marr. There was a party Sunday night. I'm sure there's a party on Monday night. They should, though. They should. It was a lot of fun.
I said Fusco had the play of the year for Yorktown, and he did for about 2 minutes. And then Palmadesso had the play of the year, winning the faceoff.
No doubt about it. 19 of 23, and Luke Palmadesso, a 40-point season. And you know, Fusco's, this is about, Austin Fusco. His father played at Yorktown.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, his father played at Yorktown. They moved away when they had little kids. But when his brother Frank was heading into the 8th grade, Frank Sr. said, we got to get back to Yorktown. Move the family back into Yorktown. Why? Wanted his sons to play for Dave Marr. Frankie didn't win one, but Austin did.
Yeah, Frankie won one on Saturday because that was a win for everyone. Kid.
John Rannigan,
won in the last
Kevin Interlicchio, all those great, all those great players that came through there.
I heard Kark was getting nervous in the booth.
And we had Paul Carcaterra, who won 3 titles at Yorktown, came up at the booth. His dad and his son were in the stands. He came up midway through the 3rd quarter. Things were going good, and then when it got close, he was like, "I think I'm going to go back down to the, I'm going to go back down to the stands. I think I want to be with my dad and my brother now." And it was a good move. I was glad Kark was down there with his brother, with his dad, with his son. That's what it's all about.
For a while this year, there was about a 10-day stretch where Yorktown looked like anything but a champion. They would lose 3 or 4 games. The only victory they had in that stretch was a 12-10 victory over Lakeland Panis. One of those 3 losses was to our number 10 Ridgefield team. Their season is still alive. Tomorrow, they will take on Greenwich for the 3rd time this year. And they've lost both games to the Cardinals in overtime. The first one in the 4th overtime, the second one, which really stung even more, in the FCX semifinals, a game they led by 4 goals at the half. At number 9, Smithtown East, who a year from now, there's a very good chance they're going to be 8 spots higher. Shout out to Coach Lambert. Set up a non-league game with Bronxville right now. Call Coach Horgan. He is waiting for your call. Coach Horgan, if you don't hear from Coach Lambert, you call him. And let's get this thing. That would be a blast.
No pressure on you, Coach Lambert. Mike Quick just throwing out there that maybe next year you'll finish number 1. Smithtown East is in the top 10 in the tri-state. Great job by those Bulls. What a run it was.
It was a great run. At number 8, Coach Lambert set a game up with these guys as well. Book St. Anthony's. You have 2 non-league games. Go out and get Bronxville and St. Anthony's. That's what I want.
And you got to love playing St. Anthony's because not only will they play you, they'll feed you after.
Yep, no doubt. No, that's very good. At number 7, the Cardinals of Greenwich High. They were not ranked in our first poll back in early April. They are now at number 7. Their season continues after knocking off the 2-time defending champs Fairfield Prep. The bad news for Greenwich, Kyle Foote, the wonderful senior bound for Loyola, ruptured his Achilles in the championship league loss to Darien High. He was watching, and what he saw was Fairfield Prep and Austin Sims give the Prep a 2-0 lead. He's going to Princeton. There ain't a lot of athletes better than Austin Sims playing lacrosse.
Talk about dancing with the stars.
Sam Salibi trying to pick up the slack from Foote. He finds John Tower, and that tied it at 2 for the Cards.
Did you say Foote and Tower in the same sentence?
Well, that's very good. And here's that's an ankle breaker right there. Decker Curran, just a laser 3-2 early in the 2nd quarter for the Michigan-bound junior. Great individual effort here by Luke Finneran, and he's had that type of effort all year. Top shelf 4-2, 4 minutes into the 2nd quarter. Greenwich goalie Tommy Rogan, the junior Jim, Jim. He has had himself a very, very good year there, turning back the pole for the Cards.
Yeah, Rogan, stands in there. He's got a pole bearing down upon him one-on-one, and you can see the toughness of this guy.
5-2 Greenwich when Finneran going to take the assist from Decker Curran, and that put the Cards up 6-2 early in the second half. Hey, it worked once, why not again? Curran to Finneran. Cool Hands' fourth of the day put Greenwich up 7-2. 4 minutes left, 4 minutes gone, third quarter. But here comes the prep. You kind of thought this game was over. It wasn't. Eddie Long pulls the Jesuits to within 9-5, 7 and change. Now they're getting to a rhythm. Austin Sims rips one. Prep to within 9-6, 4:43 left. It's now 9-7. Work it around. Eddie Long again. Going to make this a 9-8 game with 1:08 left. Under 30 seconds left. The two-time defending champs, they get the ball back. Trying to send this thing to overtime, bad pass. Game over, right? Not so fast. Greenwich gives the ball right back, and here comes the rush. And watch the play. Burke Smith thinking he has a shot. Decker Curran comes from the backside, makes a huge play as the Cardinals hang on to win the game.
Curran
9-8.
Lays out.
Lays
out. And you can see him timing it all the way. And for Greenwich now, Mike, for Coach Bulkley's squad, you know what? There's so much to play for. They had that great victory in the semifinals of the FCAC over Ridgefield. Yep. They get to the finals, they lose to Darien. Okay, so you say we're an FCAC finalist, but now you can go win a state title, and that's pretty good. That's a pretty good look back at your season. State champs and FCAC runner-ups.
Bergen Catholic, number 6 in the poll this week. Summit, forget the footage, guys. Summit checks in at number 5, because let's show you what Coach Davidson's guys would do as they get after Mountain Lakes, and then they'd have a championship meeting in the Tournament of Champions with our new number 4 team, Del Barton. Here's how Del Barton got there. They took on Ridgewood in the TOC semifinal. Ridgewood coming off a very, very good victory in the quarterfinals against Immaculata. Owen Smith scores to put Ridgewood up 1-0 moments into the game. Connor Mackey, the Yale bounder, he had 2 strikes in this game. That tied it at 1. 6:47 left in the opening stanza. Then Ryan Onderdonk.
Right in front. That's like picking up a rebound and putting it right back up and in.
Ridgewood, a big underdog in this game, didn't play like it in the first half. Matty Donovan, great individual effort there. Awesome would tie it at 2. And when Matt Shippey going to put the Maroons up 3-2, 5 seconds left in the opening quarter, you're like, uh-oh. Could Del Barton, this team of destiny who wanted this Tournament of Champions so badly, be in trouble? No, Connor Mackey answers, wins the face, gives it to Emmett Caudre. He had 3 in the game. Emmett took his game to another level in the postseason.
Listen, they got a lot of big, high-profile guys going places. Emmett now is going to turn into one of those guys, just a junior.
Tied at 4, not for long. Look at the effort by Matt Leparo. Dives in front, Ridgewood up 5-4. And that's the way it would stay at the half. Second half, enter J.J. McBride. Had a career day. Look at him work from behind the cage, Jim. Sneak it in, tied it at 5. That would ignite the green wave. 23 seconds later, Jordan Dowiak. What a year the Cornell bounder had. Going to pick it up, spin back, somehow get it to go.
And McBride is beating people with his feet here. Dowiak, the benefactor of that one.
Will McCarthy to Mackey. He loaded that thing up. He scored that with his hips, not his hands. He had that thing going. Delby up 7-6 when McBride gets him some breathing room. Nice little face dodge there. Beats the goalie.
To the left hand right there, too, for JJ. And look at him once again. Prototypical, working from the X. Change of direction, draws the little bit of the defense to him, opens up some room on the exterior. Dowiak!
So he was feeding the air, and then he was eating it up right here himself. Look at that nice move. Get some separation. That made it 10-6. He had 4 in the game as Del Barton would move on to an appearance in the state championship game where they would take on Summit in the championship, and that's a game that they wanted. They hadn't won the TOC final since 2006.
And Del Barton, listen, Mike, this was going to have to be their night.
Yeah, Will McCarthy got them tied at 1, and then the Summit goalie was just absolutely phenomenal in this game.
Hey, boo.
Yep. Sammy Boy was just great. He had a wonderful, wonderful year. Not a big name coming in. Boy, did he make a name for himself. Davidson said one of the best goalies we've ever had. That tells you how good he is. Tied at 2. Johnny Cordray going to make it an untied game. Going to get the goal with 26 seconds left in the half. That had to drive his cousin Emmett crazy, his first cousin, because he plays for Del Barton, thought about it during the half and said, John, here you go. I'm going to get on fire. That would tie it at 3. Emmett, not done. Here comes his second consecutive goal to put Del Barton up for good at 4-3.
I hope they're at a barbecue together on Father's Day. That'll be fun.
Well, that would be nice. Both their dads were great players from Manhasset out here on Long Island. Dowiak, guy's just a player, up 2. 5-3, just under 5 left in the third. Then Emmett from Will McCarthy.
Oh, man.
That one's creative. 6-3 with a second left in the third. Summit down by a goal when James Strabley scores to pull them within. They were down by 2 at this point. Scores to make it a 6-5 game, 8 and change left. But then Dowiak going to find McBride. Well, McBride off the save, camped out in front, as the great ones do. They figure out a way to make it happen. And then Stephen Kowalski, didn't have a huge name coming to the year for Del Barton in the pipes. Boy, he definitely made a name for himself as the season went on.
Put his stamp on the Morris County Championship, put his stamp on the Bergen Catholic non-public aid championship, put his stamp on the overall TFC final.
So Del Barton finally, for the first time since '06, they ring the big boy lacrosse bell, and the reason that they are at number 4 and not number 3 is because their final regular season game they lost to these guys, our number 3 team, Chaminade, the champs of the Long Island Catholic League. At number 2, Darien, they play Hand tomorrow. They're just getting ready for a meeting with New Canaan in the M Championship. And at number 1, Massapequa rolled over Niskayuna in the semifinals to get a championship date. Here's how they did it against the Cats out of Section 2. Paulie Delina to Carter Hawthorne. Chiefs up 2-1. Now tied at 2, Towson-bound Ian Kirby, after the officials said, yeah, the goal is good. Curbs, that lanky body, always has those hands free, makes it a 3-2 Massapequa lead. Then Yale-bound junior Nick Yavoli. Wow, what a day he had.
What a season.
His only goal, but yeah, more so what a season he had. 4-2, they were rolling. Kirby to Delina. Look at a big fella right in front of the cage. He had 4 in the game. It was 6-2, and then Craig Burge to Hawthorne. Hawthorne was great, 3 goals, 4 assists. 3 days later, they're back at Hofstra in the championship against some Cats out of the Syracuse region.
Fayetteville Manlius. And how about this? Paulie Delina scores. It's 2 on Massapequa. Then it's Ryan Tierney, the aforementioned Tierney. And then Jimmy Burns. Folks, remember, Massapequa had never won a New York State championship. This game was at Hofstra on Long Island, the face of the franchise. On the field is Craig Burge. When he scores here, it was 6-2 Massapequa. Listen, Fayetteville Manlius had 2 huge wins over West Jenny and Fairport to get here. Matt Valdini wouldn't let them get any closer. And then the Ian Kirby show. You know what Coach Radomski says about Ian Kirby? Kirby's got the green light, which means he plays fast and loose. Look at Kirby go. He would have a natural hat trick in the body of this game. 3-1 on the day. And Tim Radomski, the bucket bath, never felt so good. A state title is rolling into Massapequa. The Chiefs, Long Island's only New York State champ, on the boys' side of the bracket, and they are celebrating long into the night at Massapequa with that first ever title.
Was it 5 or 6 consecutive games they played at Hofstra? Did they pick it up in the Nassau quarterfinals or semifinals?
No, Nassau, it would have been 6.
So they played the quarterfinals there too. That is unbelievable. They played 6 consecutive games at Hofstra.
It was like Dorothy tapping her shoes together. There's no place like home. There's no place like home.
You're funny. They are the number 1 team in the
Hey, number 1 is number 1. We mentioned 450 some odd schools. Number 1, the Chiefs of Massapequa. It's a done deal.
Yeah, they earned it.
That's that.
It sure is. See you, everybody.